See, Todd is coming up here. Great.
And we are live.
Hello, Mayor Doug.
Hey, Herb. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Don. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
We'll wait a minute, although we already have a quorum for the
Mhm.
board, but let's see that Connie and Sylvia show up, or at least give them a chance.
Okay.
Ron earlier today was showing me some of Connie's artwork. She is really a fabulous artist. I agree with Ron. Ron said that, and I agree.
I'll tell you what, I was blown away by a couple of them. Because the only paintings I've ever seen of hers are for stuff for the forestry board. You know, it's like a tree here and there. Or there, man, she's got a couple that are just jaw dropping.
Is this for the exhibit? The city
Actually, it's
exhibit?
for the calendar,
Oh, excellent.
so you all get to see.
Okay, when will that be available?
Hopefully next week. I got the last picture in today, and now I gotta go through and do all the little fine tuning things and
Hmm.
fix all the mistakes I didn't know I made.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I tell you, a painting that isn't in the calendar, but I've seen it at her house. It's a portrait of Olmsted,
Oh, really?
and it is unbelievable. Been doing a lot of reading about Olmsted.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
See if she sent that one.
Ron, can you sense anyone else signing in?
Somebody down at the bottom.
Yeah. that's what I saw.
Nobody else.
So let's go ahead and start formally. We can vote on the approval of minutes that Linda has distributed. Any comments on the minutes? Any changes?
Yeah, I do on the November 9th.
There's Connie right now. Good.
Oh my gosh, I got on.
Hello, Connie.
Were your ears burning?
No. What did he say about me now?
Oh,
We'll
Herb was
never
talking
tell.
terrible about you.
I was complimentary.
Oh. Okay, well,
I
that's a switch.
think I have a fever.
Oh, yeah, you must.
Anyway, there's a paragraph in November. And it might be exactly what we said, but it isn't what we were going to implement. But if it's what we said, it'll stand. But it's about halfway down there. It says there are several memorial trees planted for the fall planting. Let me go right to it. She said that some of the newer greenscapes trees are not doing well, and 2 new trees were suggested near Little Honey Creek parking lot and power line, and another near the pavilion. That might be what we said, but what we have implemented is 3 trees over, actually, 42. So I'm not trying to change what was said, but just for the record, the new trees are going to be not going to be near the parking lot.
Okay, because what is in my rough notes, it was translated into the type version, is pretty much what it says. So how would you rephrase that and to say new trees needed and 3 trees were planted along 42?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we did suggest two new trees for Linda. I think we just did we discuss, maybe I don't know. There's Linda. Did we discuss at the last meeting or only talk by email for a memorial tree for your mom? Was it on the
I
at the
think I
meeting
was
at all?
not at the last meeting,
Okay,
but
okay,
I think you and I had some email
Right.
correspondence. And what I said was, I'm perfectly happy waiting till spring if that's a
right.
better way to do it.
So I take that back. So I guess we didn't discuss anything relating to her tree at the meeting. So you and Herb work it out. Sorry. How it should be reworded.
So we
Okay,
have a-
and I do think there was a discussion about the Wardell tree being evaluated, most likely be planted in the spring. That is in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I agree.
And there is another memorial tree, the oak for Paul Davis, former head of the Fox Harbor Neighborhood Association.
I think I went down a rabbit hole. I approve the minutes.
Okay.
I make a motion
Oh.
to, I'll approve it. I make a motion to approve them. How's that?
All right,
Okay.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Mayor's updates. We have a mayor. That's great.
You want the minutes for the December 4th meeting, Lee?
If you have any comment on them, sure,
Somebody gonna make a motion?
sure.
Well, I don't want to hog the motions. Okay, I make a motion that it be approved.
Okay. I second.
Okay, all in
I thought
favor?
we already,
Aye,
I thought we already did that.
right. Okay, now we can ask the mayor, please, if he has any updates.
Yeah, the couple of things I'll mention. We've got an art exhibition planned for City Hall. Connie Kuhn is serving on that committee very ably, and Kathy Sauer is chairing the committee. The committee has 11 artists who will be participating in the exhibition. There'll be an opening reception on Sunday, January 14th from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Monday, January 15th is Martin Luther King Day, and so City Hall would normally be closed, but it will be open that afternoon from 2 to 5 for anyone who'd like to view the exhibition. And thereafter, the hours of the exhibition are the regular City Hall hours. So anyone who comes to City Hall and wants to see the exhibition will be admitted into City Hall. Primarily, the art will be exhibited in the council room and in the conference room. The exhibition will close on March 8th. This Monday, December 11th, just passed, we had a boardwalk meeting to talk about the proposed boardwalk from behind City Hall over to Putney Pond. Don Gibson is leading that effort, and I thought we had an excellent meeting. We had representatives from KIPTA present who are going to help us with fundraising. It's essentially $1 million or 1.1. KIPTA seems optimistic that we would be eligible for and would likely receive $250,000 grant from the state of Kentucky, and that we would be eligible to receive that grant for each of 2 years, so a total of $500,000, which would get us most of the
Halfway there, right?
Yeah, it'd be a very good head start. That there's discussion about possibly doing the boardwalk in phases so that we can move forward even before we get all the funding. But Don's doing a great job with that. It was Don's idea to begin with. It's a terrific project to be a great addition to the city. We had a Toys for Tots drive. We collected 5 boxes of toys, working with Prospect resident John Bishop, who's a Marine Corps veteran. And those toys have now all been delivered to the Toys for Tots folks and for distribution to children throughout the community. Council will meet on Monday, and Monday will be Sons of the American Revolution Day in Prospect. We will be recognizing the Sons of the American Revolution at the council meeting and thanking them for their participation for a Flag Day program that they led in Cali Park, for their participation on the 4th of July event, they were essentially the grand marshal of our parade. They led the parade and then raised the flag at the beginning of the celebration. They also participated in our Veterans Day event, which was 7, I think it was election day, and they did a great. So they're going to come on Monday in uniform to receive that recognition. They're very, very excited about that. I'll mention one further project. We have a committee that's working on recycling and understanding recycling more and what happens to the items that we put in for recycling, with the likely goal of increasing recycling in Prospect, depending on what our committee learns. We have a group of volunteers who help primarily elderly residents get their carts to the curb and then back to their garage after recycling is picked up. These are folks who would not be able to who want to recycle, but would not be physically able to recycle if they didn't have the help of these volunteers. So that's some of what's going on in Prospect, and that's my report.
Any questions for the mayor? Okay. I'd like to note that Sylvie Quayle has joined us also.
Sylvia?
And we go on to the next item on the agenda, which is Andrea's updates.
So the first update would be that the Perez and Cortez completed the new tree planting on Monday and finished it up Tuesday with mulching. They completed all the work that we wanted them to do, and I think the trees look good. So Lee had asked for their invoice, and I sent it to you too, Ron, for the work that they did this week. And so you all should have that. They planted the total. I'm sorry?
Turned it in today.
Oh, great.
So
They planted a total of 12 trees. So as a review, they planted 4 in Little Hunting Creek Park, one of which was the memorial oak tree for Paul Davis. They planted 3 evergreens along the exit side of Fox Meadow Way. They planted 2 really pretty American hollies. I think that one is planted on the right side, the exit side of Hunting Creek Drive as you approach 42. And one is planted in the entrance median on Chestnut Hill Drive, where a large spruce tree was lost, I don't know, a year or so or more ago. They also replaced a dead maple tree along the left side of Putney Lane as you go down Putney Lane. So hopefully I'm not missing anything. Oh, and 3, yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I've missed any. Oh, and 2 elm trees on the right side of Autumn Hill. So there were a lot of utilities in that area, as maybe Ron is familiar with. I don't know. There was every utility possible along the street there. But so we moved the trees back and beyond the utilities. I think they look good and it'll be a better placement long-term. The only other things of note, or one thing of note, and I sent a photo out earlier today. Maybe some of you have seen, I was down in Hunting Creek Park this week and I noticed there's a good size uprooted tree on the right side of the entrance drive on the hillside above the entrance drive that's uprooted and leaning it and kind of lodged in another tree or 2. And if it gets dislodged, I think it may could fall on the entrance road there. So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
Is that Harrods Creek Park or Hunting?
Yeah, Harrods Creek Park. As you come down the entrance road and you're almost gonna turn left to go down to the parking lot. And it's on the right there, you'll see it. It's kind of up the hill, but it's a little bit precarious there. So just wanted to mention that. And I think that's all I have for right now.
So that tree on the Park Road, Ron, if it's being held up by other trees, I'm assuming you'd have to hire someone to
Oh, yeah.
take
If
that
it-
down. So
If,
maybe
if it's ours.
if
Yeah,
it's on, okay, right,
Yeah,
okay.
And
thank you.
it's up the ways pretty, good bit. So I don't know. You'll have to, maybe you can check it out and let us know. So that's all I have, Lee.
I
Right
wanted to say two things. So first of all, I got an email today, speaking, very complimentary, of the 3 spruce trees planted in Little Honey Creek Park. They came from a resident, said they look great.
Good.
Secondly, and I'm going to mention this in the report to council. I was analyzing the budget and spending for the forestation board and related expenditures over the calendar year. And it turns out that about half of everything we spent was related to maintenance of trees, tree damage. There was one item, $15,000 just for correcting situation from that bad windstorm in March. In any case, it's a surprising amount of the total is attributable to various correction problems for dead, falling, or wind damaged trees. And this is primarily caused by aging trees and by the severe weather we've had from time to time, which may be, in fact, related to climate change. But in any case, we definitely had it.
Yeah, there was a lot of storm damage this spring for sure.
Yes, that's right.
A lot of cities have spent a lot of extra money on storm damage related tree removals this year.
Right.
Well, I think we were fortunate we didn't get near the damage at like St. Matthews. I drive through St. Matthews. I mean, they did a lot of physical damage to the people's property and their homes and stuff. They had, so I think we got fortunate. We were part of that storm, but we apparently didn't get the brunt.
Right.
Okay, next item is ordinance review, and Linda's been working on that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Linda?
Yeah, this has been an interesting process. We have all spent a fair amount of time looking at our ordinance, and then we've been challenged by council. We have a special committee that we have met with. We've had a lot of meetings. We've learned a lot. And after the last special meeting in early December, it was decided that, okay, maybe we should take a step back, look at our ordinance. How can it be better? Because, what can't be improved. It's hard to say. So I spent a couple hours with Sandra Leonard on Monday. And at that point, the question was, what elements do we need or not need? What do we need to add? Are the points in our language clear? Because some of it's very wordy, and there are points where it's somewhat redundant. And so in the meantime, we reached out to Kentucky Forestry, and Bridget Abernathy's been wonderful, but we have a new contact. His name's Jack Baggett. And so the question was, are there ordinances or there standards from the Arbor Day Foundation that, would give us a template that we could work with to see how we measure up, what we need to add, and do we need everything we've got? And he said, actually, the Arbor Day Foundation is working on a template pretty much now, which could be a tremendous tool for us. He has sent me information from the Lexington standards, which I think are well done. They're a little more concise and easy to read than some of ours. He's also sent me some documents from Chicago, which are just massive, and I
Yeah.
think maybe more than we need. But it's been an interesting learning process, and I think Lee and I talked on Tuesday because he wanted to know kind of what Sandra was thinking and what her questions were, and in many ways they reflected some of the issues that the special committee brought up. And so we looked at a lot of things, and Lee and I agreed that, you know, as we learn more, whatever we do will be better. And so from this point, she has suggested and agreed to continue to work on our document, and we would like to continue to collect data from other communities, and particularly this new template that's going to be available from the Arbor Day Foundation before we really finalize another version that takes into concern the committee's concerns, some of the questions that Frank Fulcher asked, so that we have something that is really functional for prospect and, you know, is better than, you know, where we were right now. So that's kind of where we are, and Lee seemed to be comfortable that, you know, the more we learn, the better we will be. So that's kind of where we are right now. So that's out there for everybody else on forestation, and those that care about trees on the call today can, you know, comment.
Well,
Did Jack, oh, sorry. Did Jack let you know when that he thought that, does he have any idea when they're gonna get that template completed? Cause
No, but I can ask that question. I'd be glad to, because that will help us for sure.
I mean, to
Well-
see how long you might have to wait, you know,
Right, right.
but that's
Well,
good.
I do have a comment. You know, I did something real different at the meeting. I kept my mouth shut. And, but, you know, we have public works, we have code enforcement, and they have a lot of things to be concerned about. You know, you know, just take dumpster locations, you know, fence heights, you know, sidewalk clearances for that, on and on and on. Percentage of yards now that are going to be grass, you know, it just goes on and on. We have a specialty. We only deal with trees, and so I understand you might look at other ordinances in other cities and other things, but we've been working this way for a while. I doubt if I wouldn't have gotten involved if it was going to be a whole lot of other stuff besides trees. I'll be real honest. So we have this specialty. We've been doing it. We've sort of been together. Other people haven't been wanting to join. So this forestation board has grown whiskers and things, excuse my term there. But anyway, and we have a strong working relationship with a qualified arborist. So I just wanted that to be said. So, okay, I said it.
Well, I think our focus is never going to be anything but trees, and we understand that the nuisance guidelines that are changing will have some impact on us, but I think we will not ever walk away from focusing on trees and that part of how we can help the community.
Okay.
Anybody else? Tree people?
I was just to mention a related item. I got another email which I've distributed to everyone on the board today and also the council. Really thanking the city for the removal of a tree that threatened the property at the overlook. And this came through, of course, the work of Andrea and the forestation board, and the clause in the current ordinance that permits the city to take action to remove hazardous trees on private property. And this email should be in everybody's mailbox, and it's short but quite complimentary.
Is that the one that they just, that the Bridgepoint Homeowners Association removed?
Yes,
Or
that's
a
right.
different one?
Exactly.
Right,
Right. Yeah.
Okay, right,
And we had a separate one from Kent Kroer.
right. I saw
2
that.
days earlier, just saying that the tree had been removed.
Mhm.
And
Right. And it was nice of Kent and the Bridgepoint board to cooperate in a fairly timely manner on that and get it.
Yes, they've been very cooperative. And
Right. That was very helpful.
Good. Okay. The next item on the agenda is Gunston Lane Pine, and Herb has been working on it. Herb, you want to report on what you found?
Yeah, I sent a picture to hopefully everybody on here, maybe Linda Wardell got excluded. I apologize for that. But, you know, we went out on the site and looked at it. And, you know, as a architect, people's property is critical. I never worked, and I did a lot of residential design. Never consider it an addition unless the people had a survey. So make sure, I mean, you're not doing anybody a favor by building on somebody else's property. So property is real critical. There's no way I would even think about trying to assign where that tree is, that dead tree is. It really needs a surveyor.
Yeah, as to determine the ownership is what you're saying, yes.
Yeah, I might not have gone all the way into it. Yeah. So the bottom line, I don't think this board is in a position, my suggestion is in a position to say who owns that tree unless a
No.
professional Kentucky surveyor. And I know from experience, if you get a surveyor and just, you're not asking him to do a legal survey of the whole property. You're asking him to find who owns a certain item on that property. It's not really all that expensive. I did it personally on my property, so I know that situation. So that's what I recommend, that the city employ a surveyor to determine who owns that property, who owns that dead tree. It's definitely not on city property. There's no city property in that area.
Yeah, there's no city. We decided that when Ron went up there, when this first came up. But Ron was cautioning that this could be interpreted as spending city money on private property, which he said is not permitted. I think everybody recognizes that. However, there have been surveys before us, and we did one maybe a couple years ago on trees that are right along the exit route from Onion Creek Drive.
Yep.
And,
Well, actually, the city did pay for a survey on the tree on Olm Hill Court. It's many years ago, probably right about 15 years ago. The city and I were in a dispute about a tree. I paid for a surveyor, you know, my surveyor, and the city paid for a surveyor. It turned out the mayor at that time said, it looks like it's right in the center and we'll take care of it. But
okay.
I did not pay for that survey. You know, this situation, if you look at that site plan I sent, a lot of people don't really know their property. I learned that they don't know their property limits. And, you know, we do know everybody here pays property tax. They pay tax on all their insurance. And I just think that's just my opinion, it's a city obligation to find this dead hazardous tree and not charge one of the landowners, but just my opinion.
Lee,
Okay.
the manager of the apartment complex who contacted you originally,
Yeah,
I mean, would they have I don't know if they would show us this, but would they have the original plans and, you know, plat of that property to scale?
well,
Well,
that would
they
that
could
would be
have,
fair.
everybody could have a survey, but we need to know where the tree is located.
Right.
That
Well, I thought
tree,
if we had a site survey of theirs, we could measure. From
I don't think we should take that responsibility.
Yeah, okay. Good point.
I think Ron suggested contacting both the apartment complex and the individual homeowner and asking them if they knew which one it was. And if one of them says, "Oh yeah, that's my tree," that might shorten this process and save a little money.
Right.
Well, Belinda Smith, who's the manager for the Gunson Lane apartments or condos, originally brought this tree to our attention.
Key's right there.
Thought it was a city tree.
You need key?
And when after we said, no, it's not a city tree, after about a month, she reported that they had some information that was not on their property. Now,
Well,
we
see,
could ask,
well,
ask
first of
her
all,
that.
it's not 2 properties, it's 3.
They all
I
come
mean-
together there, yeah.
Yeah, and so so if you're gonna notify anybody, you notify, make sure you get all 3 of them, because it's in that area that could be any of the 3s.
So you're recommending a survey. Could we ask Doug here to arrange for a survey, or what, or should we vote on that? What do people recommend here?
Well, the mayor suggested first contact them. Now, Belinda's already said it's not hers, so,
Yeah, she did.
okay,
there's-
but the other 2 people that
Okay.
reside on Woodrose, they could be contacted, so, Mayor, do you have a suggestion who should contact them?
Well, I guess I'll go look at the tree. Is it do we think it's gonna fall on somebody's head, or what are we worried about?
Well, it's been dead for well over a year, maybe much longer
I
than
mean,
that.
is it,
And it's gonna start falling apart. And when it does, it's above the parking lot there for the apartment complex.
okay,
So it's
okay.
possible it could, it's possible it could,
Damaged automobile or something?
right, damage a car or something like that,
Or a person
It
walking
comes
to the car?
right? Yep,
No, we don't want that.
absolutely.
Yeah, what does the survey cost her?
I bet the survey could be around $200. I think Milestone, who's done lots of work for the city, designed the new parking lot. I think they'd be in the 200, 250 range.
What
Just
we've,
to-
what we've done in the past when it does not involve city property consists, because this is actually a dispute between 2 private landowners. When it doesn't involve city property, usually what we've done is whoever's property the tree ends up being on is responsible for paying for the survey.
Right. So what do you do? Notify them that a survey is going to be made and to
Mhm.
determine the location of a dead tree or a hazard tree on one of their properties, or what?
Yep.
Well, as I said before, and Todd was the mayor, that survey that the city did on the tree on Oldham Hill Court, that the city
involved-
ended up taking down.
That involves
did
city
not-
property,
I did not pay for that city survey.
right? That involves city property.
Well, Ron, what about I don't know it seemed like this was private property to me, but you would know that Mayor Evans ordered, and you ordered a survey. It was on that big dead white pine that was on Honey Creek Drive as you come up the hill towards With Hill. Is it With Hill or White Hill? How do you pronounce it? I never
I
have.
always
known.
said, I always said white. Everybody up there says with, so
So I don't know, but it's on.
they
the
live
right-
there, we'll go with.
There's a house there that we had a dispute about a big dead pine for a long time, and it was not too far. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't I don't believe it was in the right of way of Honey Creek Drive. Do you remember that one?
Uh-huh.
It was about halfway back on their property line. What happened in that case? Wasn't
I
there a
believe they
survey?
paid for that survey.
They paid for it. Okay,
They should have been billed for it because the tree
Uh-huh.
ended up being theirs.
right. Okay. I wasn't sure how that worked.
We have pretty specific rules we have to follow about spending public
Oh,
money
absolutely.
on private land.
Absolutely.
Ask John Evans.
No, I'm aware of that. Deal with that a lot. So would that be the next step then for the city to notify the 2 landowners that possibly could own that tree?
Mhm.
How's
I'm
that?
back to 3, there's 3.
Well, I thought, yeah, well, I know. What,
You-
yeah,
Now, if you're gonna get it determined, you need it all 3 parties. I feel real accurate. My drawing that has a hatched area is the trees in that area. So it's 3 different property owners.
Got it.
Mhm.
Herb, you have the addresses, right?
I have the 8204, and I don't know the one that's a little bit to the north. I don't know if that's 8202 or. I mean, I could go to Logic and find it. I guess I was lazy.
Is that Woodrose Court? Is that where that is?
Yeah, Woodrose Court, yes.
Yeah.
So the action item, I believe, would be for the city to notify 2 or 3 property owners that there's a hazardous tree located on one of their properties.
Mhm.
And that the recipient or the owner of that tree will eventually have to pay for the survey
And the removal.
Removal.
and the removal, right? Remediation.
I'll be glad to ask Rick on Monday to, if he'll check with look at Herb's drawing and check with all 3 property owners and ask them if they know, and if they don't, we'll figure out next steps.
Right.
Okay.
Herb and I went up and looked at that, and Herb did more work on that and found that if you look at the property lines, one of them kind of bends more towards that tree and might be the actual one, but it's uncertain. But Herb, you could write a note, just sending the.
I like what the mayor
address.
said.
Yeah,
Lee, I really like what the mayor said.
okay.
Herb, will you send, I saw your drawing, but I'm not sure I'll be able to find it in my emails. Would you be able to send that to me again?
Yes, yes.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay.
Herb, I like your Wi-Fi. It seems to be working real well.
Yeah, there's some gentleman named Mayor Farnsley that's been real helpful. I will admit it's not been perfect, but it's a lot better, man. It's great today. Now, let me put in a plug for our mayor.
Okay,
He went to bat and talked with the AT&T representative, and we had a serviceman come out, spend time, educate us on a lot of things. Did tell us about it was a lousy splice. He was a little maybe too that the splice was not a good one. Splicing the cable into the internet, but learned a lot. But the bottom line is we have a mayor that really is there for our benefit. Thank you, Mayor.
It's my pleasure. AT&T stepped up, although your internet seems to be suffering a little bit today. It's a lot better than it was the other day.
Oh, yeah.
okay. Moving on, the next item is the memorial plaques installations. We have 2 memorial trees. One is the one for Paul Davis. The other one is for Kevin Wardell's parents, I believe. And that's located on just off of the Putney Access Road. And the plaques are made up, and Ron already reported that he affixed the plaques to stones, which is a standard way he's been doing it. Keeps them from drifting away, you might say. And the only question I have is, would they be installed by city maintenance, or if necessary, we could hire Perez and Cortez? So really, this is a question for Ron. Do you want to do that, Ron, or if you guys?
I can do that. I don't see much sense in paying somebody to walk up and sit down the stone.
Okay.
It's not like there's a whole lot of installation to it.
No, there isn't, no. So there's two of them, that's it.
Ron,
then,
would you let me know when you're doing the one on Putney Lane? Because I want to go there and take a picture of it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Just get with me and we'll do it whenever you're ready.
Okay, great, thanks.
And on the Paul Davis one, if you let me know, I'll contact Mrs. Davis and tell her.
Okay.
Okay.
I could probably actually do that one right after the meeting. So
That'd be great. Okay. That'd be good. Okay.
simple stroll up the sidewalk. I think I can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Thank you, Ron. Okay. The next item is actually, we have a request for another memorial tree. This came on the 27th of November through the city system to me, and the person that is asking, her name is Cindy Embry. I don't know if she's related to other Embrys, which we know, but she was saying that she lost a friend that used to hike a lot on the Harrods Creek areas, trails, and would like to fund and associate with some other people a memorial tree. And I talked to her on the phone. I told her roughly the cost, which would be $400 to $500. She didn't have any problem with that. She doesn't have any problem with the species either. She said whatever our arborist would recommend for that particular site, and we could pick out the site. Her only criteria would be that the memorial tree and plaque would be reasonably accessible so people could look at it. The people are paying for it or friends of the deceased. So that's kind of there, and she's open on the timing also. But I told her it would probably be in the spring,
Right.
and she was fine on that. So the only question, and maybe this would be a combination of Andrea and Linda Wardell, where's the best spot? And then
Well,
what's the best species?
I think that spot we were talking to you about, Linda, at one time for one of the trees, the memorial trees, that as you walk down the sidewalk from the parking lot, and instead of going on the orange trail, you kind of veer to the right toward the canoe launch area, and there's a kind of a hillside there, like on the
Right,
left,
and
and
you
it's
know,
high. The way, might be.
yeah, at the time when we looked at that, I said, oh, we might be having the stream crossing bridge construction going on. And that's actually going to happen. I'm not exactly sure when, but we have a signed contract now to put that stream crossing bridge. So there is going to be heavy equipment down there. And I don't think they intend to, I don't know, but I don't think they would affect that precise area. But I'm not sure we'd want to be planting.
Well, maybe Lee, we could, maybe those people could plant it in the fall of 24 instead of the spring. Maybe they would opt for that. I don't know, depending on whether you think the other projects may be going to go forward this spring or something. Does anybody, so we don't have it, the city doesn't have a date yet on maybe when that would start. Is that a MSD thing, or who's putting that? Who's doing that?
The construction's going to be by Bornstein.
Okay.
And, we're in the process of getting the original bridge plan has changed, so they need to get new engineering drawings for the foundations and before the bridge can be ordered. So there's a whole sequence of events that needs to happen. And at this point, we really don't know. Mayor Farnsley, do you have any further comments on that? I think.
No, I think Linda and I met with Steve and talked, and I think Don was there. We talked with Steve about talking with Bornstein and trying to move things along, and it sounds like they are moving forward. So I think we're where we need to be.
The weather is going to come to be a major factor. It's some major excavation there. So I mean, it's right now, if the weather holds up, it'll be done before fall by the contract basis. But if weather, but I think it's a great idea to wait to fall. If you're gonna be anywhere near there, because it's a major deal. They're bringing a 40 foot long bridge in on site, so it's no little deal.
Right.
Well, I think that based on my one conversation with Miss Embry, that she would be totally open to delaying this thing to the fall for a very good reason. Yeah, exactly what
And
you're saying.
The fall of the year is an excellent time to plant
Yeah.
trees.
And maybe a swamp oak. What do you think, Andrew?
Maybe I'll probably have to look at the
Okay.
site again. I can't remember if part of it's shaded at all there. Is it a
Yeah.
little bit shaded, Linda? I can't remember. I'll have to go look.
All right.
But
When you get a
possibly.
chance,
Possibly.
I'll get back to this person, tell them what's happened and what's planned, and I'll write a note on it
Okay.
when we get her response. But
That's
I'm thinking that'll be fine.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yes, okay. The next agenda item is the Tree City filing. And Linda Knox, you've done some research on that already. I just wanted to add that the one of the requirements is sort of to have a proclamation. Well, the city did prepare a proclamation on October, which is quite suitable for filing there. I've gotten the spending information, but you might want to comment further about the growth award. We might be able to qualify for a growth award because of the canopy tree program. I saw where the a program like that is worth 8 points, and you can get 2 points any year you've actually done planting, and we've done plenty of that. So how many points are required now for a growth award? I couldn't
10.
figure that
I
out.
think 10.
10.
Still
So we have 10. Okay. Easily 10.
Right.
So we want to include that in our application to ask for a growth award for those two things.
Great.
And the canopy tree program is pretty easily written up. And along those lines, Linda Knox and I have a point with Ron to actually work on physical submission. We'd be happy to have someone else join us. Any comment on that? Anybody else want to participate in that? That'd be helpful. Okay. Okay, so Liz and I will take care of that with Ron's help.
Well, I nominate Connie.
Okay. And then the next item is open. Is there anything else for the board to review or discuss at this time?
Linda says she just got knocked off, so.
I missed that, Ron.
Linda said she just got knocked off of Spectrum, so.
Okay.
She was bragging. She was bragging about her great internet service. I'm sorry.
Oh, irony.
Yeah. She jinxed herself.
Well, she was on for the important part.
Yeah.
We'll give her a minute.
She's trying to call the mayor to get her internet fixed. And while you're at it, how about getting the recycling bin? Is this the year I get kicked off the forestation board? Come on, Lee, you know I have a attention span problem.
Okay. Well, the next agenda item is what date would the next meeting be? And I picked the second Thursday in January, but the question is, does that fit everybody's schedule? We've been meeting on Thursday the last few months because of various conflicts that people have had.
I like.
Okay. Anybody else have any comment on that date?
That work with the mayor and Andrea?
It's okay with me.
Works for me. What time do we meet at 2?
It would be 2:00 by WebEx.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm available.
WebEx lets Sylvia participate without having to come out to Prospect from her office, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I'm putting it down on my calendar right now.
Okay. Well, I think we can have a vote to close the meeting.
I vote to adjourn.
I second it.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes,
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. And thanks so
Connie.
much for so many contributions.
Oh, you're muted, Connie.
Okay. Signing off. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Connie.